Dave Thomas, who is at the Red Zone, sponsor of our training camp reports, right behind the Travel Lodge. Today, did you eat them out of house and home yesterday? You don't look like you're munching on anything. Did they say, slow down on that guy over there because it just keeps ordering. It's not, hey, sir, it's not a buffet.
Step away from the buffet.
How did things go? How did things go at camp today, Davey?
It was a beautiful day to start. The winds didn't pick up until later in the workout, so a lot of work was done coaching and building upon what took place on day number one, and the fact that the first-year players were out trying to assimilate themselves with the Canadian Football League game. There was a ton of coaching that was going on, a ton of systems implementation, but there was a lot of guys that also started to stand out from the crowd today too, which I thought was pretty good.
Andrew Harris. I know we're going to hear from Coach Mason a bit. Have you had a chance to talk to him, track him down? What's, walking around, I'm sure everybody's, listening to what he has to say.
Absolutely. Again, he's one of those guys that people have got automatic respect for. So he speaks and the running backs are listening, whether it's talking about blocking schemes, running holes, how they can get better, quicker, faster. It's terrific. And Coach Mace today said that Andrew Harris, again, it does look still a little bit weird, him wearing green, right? Like all the coaches do out on the field. But Coach Mace said that Andrew Harris earned his coaching stripes today, became an official coach as he threw his back out when he was trying to bring some apparatus out for a drive.
When he was trying to what? Sorry, I was laughing over that.
He's trying to demo a drill or what?
No, he was bringing out the ladder apparatus to run along the sideline, I believe. And so tweaked the back a little bit. So Coach May says, there you go. Now you're a coach.
That's a chiropractor commercial waiting to happen for the Riders marketing team. You did catch up with Coach Mace after day two. Here are the comments in your chat with Coach Mace.
What did you see in day two? There seemed to be a lot of coaching going on again today.
Yeah, I think, the guys got, to get a taste of it yesterday, and then, we attacked the film. And guys are playing with a little bit more tempo, a little bit more speed, understanding the speed of the game. So it was good to see them react to that.
You talked a little bit yesterday about how you've got some leaders out here that you want to see do some mentoring when they're on the field. It's a very unique dynamic, though, in the fact that everybody still is competing for jobs, right? So how do you balance that?
I mean, that's just the mentality and the culture that we have. We understand what this is in training camp, and everybody's fighting for a job, but we believe in kind of raising the floor, and if somebody has some information to help somebody else, then we're going to do that. And all it's going to do is just push the guy ahead of them anyway. So if we can do that as a team throughout camp and continue that throughout this season, we believe that puts us in best favor.
Receiver Wayne Ruby Jr. was getting a lot of touches early on in practice. Today, his speed, his athleticism shows. What have you seen from him?
I think just, for him, him and even Ty James as just guys coming in for the first time and how fluid they are in their routes and understand the waggle and sure-handed guys, man. So those are two guys that I thought stood out yesterday. We'll attack the tape and see what happened today, and hopefully they took another step, but been very impressed with those two for sure.
Defensive side of the ball, I know you say details matter on everything that you do, but when it comes to that defensive side, there were a lot of adjustments and pre-snap talk that was going on. What did you see there?
I got to say that was the number one thing I've been most impressed about from the defensive standpoint, are these young guys taking command of communication out there. From day one in our walkthroughs, and even we push it in the meetings, they are over communicating, and really there's no negative to that. So I've been really pleased to see how those guys are conducting themselves pre-snap and even post-snap.
Last one for me, there's obviously a lot of offensive and defensive linemen on your roster right now with decisions that'll have to be made, but still very physical battles despite not wearing pads right now. What have you seen, and are you happy with those groups?
Yeah, those were two position groups, certainly we wanted to focus on, and you can never have too many for sure. And we got a lot of big cats out here, and that's it. I mean, it's trench play. We talk about it all the time. There's a smart way to do it, which I believe they've been doing, but they're still playing fast and physical. But we don't have pads on, so it's a lot of playing with your hands and moving people with your feet. So I've been really, really happy with what we've seen so far.
Happy with what we have seen so far. What's the crowd like? Is there a lot of people out there? What's the support like been, Dave?
Yeah, a couple hundred probably in the stands at Griffith Stadium. And again, it's been really, really windy. So I would anticipate, of course, as we get the veterans out, that you'll start to see that crowd start to grow a little bit. But the other thing that I thought was interesting watching grow is Coach Corey Mace. I don't know if you remember last year, Barney, during training camp, we had Jeremy O'Day, the general manager, on, and he said that Coach Mace at some points looked like, well, geez, what should I be doing? I'm blowing the whistle as a first-time head coach. This time around, boy, he is much more deliberate in where he spends his time, how he spends his time. He's still doing as much coaching as he's ever done before, but boy, does he look comfortable and confident in the coaching staff, teaching things the way that he wants them to be taught. And it's not night and day, but it's definitely a progression and evolution of the coaching staff.
Interesting you make that point, because that was in some ways, that was a rookie coaching group coming together in that position last year, and Mace taking the bull by the horns, if you will, and being responsible. Big change. And then the add of the new coach, like you say, Andrew Harris, who's tweaked his back today and is out. Is he on the DL? Is he official? Are we send him to the tub?
No, he's a practice time decision. That's the official word.
Hey, I like Luke says, can't make the club in the tub.
Can't coach from there either. Can't coach from the tub.
Yeah, no, it's the other thing. So in hour 2, what are we going to talk about a little bit more? I know Curtis is excited to hear from Wayne Ruby Tuesday.
Wayne Ruby Jr., yeah, you know what? He is having a real standout camp, and there's kind of a spot for him because he is wearing the number 80 right now, and of course that's a Joe's old number, right? But there's a lot of similarities between his game and the game that a Joe brought. They both had a lot of size, speed, and their compete and willing to get physical as a receiver is really what has gone ahead and put a spotlight on them thus far through camp. You heard, of course, Coach Mace talk a little bit about that, and we'll hear more about that from Wayne Ruby Jr. and the unique way that he ended up in Saskatchewan. Of course, he was at the Jacksonville Jaguars mini camp just a couple of weeks ago, and, well, here he is in Saskatchewan.
All right, that's hour 2. Okay, what are you going to do for the next hour, sir, at the red zone there? We got do they have slappers? They got
What are they bringing
shuffleboard
now?
Golden Tee, Buck Hunter.
Come on in.
this?
You got to get a little closer so everybody can see it.
Oh, he's
Lift
got
that
food
up there.
coming again.
Nachos.
Yeah, slide it over.
Nachos.
We got nachos.
Only in red zone.
Hey, that's a nice nacho plate.
That's enough.
Jeez.
What is the special today at the red zone?
Hey, what is the special today? We've got the Blue Jays special, right? $15 for a burger, fries, and beer, right? That's on. We'll see them blow another game in the bottom of the 9th, but you're not going to blow anything when you come in for $15 for a burger and a beer.
Can't beat it.
I heard if the Blue Jays win, it's free, so they're pretty safe.
Yeah.
That's according to Barney Shanker.
Yeah, I still have a tab at the Pat. We'll put it on that. Okay, Davey, we'll catch up in hour 2. Our Roughrider training camp reports brought to you by the Red Zone Sports Bar, right behind the Travelodge in Saskatoon. That's where Dave and then Luke will be all next week as well. The Red Zone Sports Bar in Saskatoon, right behind the Travelodge. That is where we find our Dave Thomas. Sorry to keep you waiting, Dave. What did you drill back while you were waiting? Dry ribs.
No, chicken nachos. They were amazing. Absolutely.
So, Dave, we got something. I think it just showed up
Text message, yeah.
on CoolBet. I think it just showed up on CoolBet. The over/under on your weight by the end of training camp.
Yeah. We're going up a belt size for sure, boys.
Good for you, though.
Get it in ya.
Yeah.
Get it in ya. You got to live, buddy. All right, we teased it in hour 1. Let's start this by talking Wayne Ruby Tuesday Jr., as we call him here. Curtis's friend. I didn't understand when you teased it in hour 1. Is he about the same size then as a Joe?
Yeah, 6'1", about 188 or so. Like he's he looks tall, slender, but very muscular. And again, he's not afraid to get his nose dirty at all.
Okay, Dave had a chance to talk to him. Let's go hear what Ruby Tuesday had to say.
Pleased to be joined by Wayne Ruby Jr. And tell me a little bit, first and foremost, about your induction and your welcome to the Canadian Football League game.
Ah, man, it's amazing, man. It's amazing. It's a wonderful opportunity that the coaches and the staff and organization gave me. I'm just blessed to be here. It's beautiful so far. Camp is going well. Couldn't ask for anything better.
What's the transition to the Canadian game been like for you? As it's a lot different from the game you're used to.
Yeah, it is definitely a lot different. It's going to take some time to get adjusted to, but I feel like I'm doing well, playing my part. You know, minor mistakes so far. It's going to take an adjustment, but I'm ready for it.
A lot of balls came to your way early in this workout session today. That must be satisfying to know that some of your work is paying off and you're starting to make connections with the quarterbacks.
Yes, man. I mean, it comes down to everyone doing their job and being where I'm supposed to be and making a play.
What have you made of the pre-snap movement so far? I saw in a couple of drills, you had to start at a slot position and then come in and lay a chip in the blocking game.
Man, it's treacherous down there on that D-line, man. But, just going forward, I'm ready to work. So whatever I have to do, blocking, just doing my job, I'm willing to do.
Heck of a journey that you've made coming to Saskatchewan, Canada. Starts with your college. If we go back to the University of Mount Union, a number of high-profile athletes, Pierre Garçon, a receiver there. Tell me about what that program was like and how it helped you develop.
My old school, Mount Union, was a great school, great organization, great coaches, staff. We were surrounded by many athletes who are former professional athletes who also played the game. So just getting the knowledge from those coaches and having my teammates around, just pushing each other every day. And it's just the standard that we have there at Mount Union. You know what I'm saying? You're coming in, you're going to work hard and do whatever it takes to be better each day.
How did you find your way to success? You look at your numbers over that span and they jump off the page.
It was all God, man. He gave me the ability, the talent to just do what I love to do. I love playing football. I love winning football games. And just the support system that I have, just coming out to work every day was the main focus.
So from university, you get an opportunity at minicamp with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Take me through that process.
Yeah, so right after draft, I signed undrafted. I ended up getting injured the first week, so I just had the PT. But being there for a short while, I learned a lot. And the expectation as a professional athlete, how to carry yourself. It was a blessing. It was an honored opportunity that I got, and I was just ready. Now I'm here.
What did you take away from that experience then that you can bring here?
Like I said, how to be a professional, how to carry yourself. I was already practicing those characteristics when I was in college, because one of my coaches told me, you want to be a professional, you have to start now. And he told me that my sophomore year of college. So, that's when I really took home and I focused on carrying myself as a professional on and off the field. And it just translated. So.
At what point in your football journey did you know about the Canadian Football League, and at what point did you know that, hey, the Saskatchewan Roughriders are calling, I think I should answer? Yeah,
so I'm a football junkie, so I already knew about the CFL and Saskatchewan and a couple of teams up here. I didn't really watch much, but, in the journey, I actually was at the airport after a Cleveland Browns workout, and I got the call, Saskatchewan wants me. So, I told my agent, let's do it, man, I'm ready to go.
Well, you're here now, and it's going to be an interesting process as we move forward. We wish you all the best, and thanks for doing some time.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I like the sound of him.
Curtis was glued to that interview. No, it's good. You always got to have a favorite player. What about other receivers, Dave, today and then after 2 days?
Well, it's kind of sneaky, but it isn't. And I kind of feel bad that I say sneaky when I describe Deshaun Mims, because drafted last year, of course, he was hurt all training camp long. And you feel for the guy, right? Didn't have a chance to really show his best at camp. Went back, played with the University of Regina Rams, wins a Hardy Cup last season. But he has come in as a completely different receiver. He looks much more confident in what's being asked of him. He's been physical when he's had to. He's made catches in tough spots throughout camp. So Deshaun Mims is a guy, like I said, that he should be on everybody's radar, being a local Regina guy, but he's one of those guys that maybe kind of drifted out of your mindset because he was hurt and banged up all through camp last year.
But he's a great addition, a Canadian receiver with the depth they've got. They're going to need more of that. So a guy like Deshaun is going to be fantastic in that. Anybody else that really highlighted the day for you on offense?
Well, I thought interesting throwing the football around today is Jake Mayer took a lot of reps. Now, usually you would see like maybe Tommy Stevens, maybe Jack Cohn, maybe Mr. Hires throwing the football around, but it was Jake Mayer that took a lot of reps today. And Jake really is showing a lot of leadership and really seems dialed in. Now, we know that the relationship that he had with Mark Mueller previously in Calgary, and we anticipated that carrying over. But to me, he took a lot of reps, made some very good throws. And at the end of the practice session, that was when the wind really started to pick up, gusting around 65 kilometers an hour again. But the quarterbacks, they went ahead and they took turns throwing into the wind, which I thought was pretty impressive. And the spirals that were coming out of the hands of Trevor Harris and Jake Mayer were quite impressive. So I think there's a lot of optimism that we should have in that quarterback room. Of course, Trevor Harris is undisputed number one, and he looks fantastic. But I think we can have confidence in Jake Mayer and Tommy Stevens and Jack Cohn all behind him.
I love that. Love that.
Were the running backs getting a lot of work today?
Running backs did. We saw actually a little bit of a change up today in the fact that running the ball more was Trent Penix. He didn't carry the ball much in day one of rookie camp, and that just might have been more scheme than anything else. But today he got his share of touches, and he definitely took care of a lot of different things. So he looked pretty good in that aspect of it also. I thought that the running backs, and again, even though their coach was hobbled by injury, they were able to get the job done.
Yeah, if you missed that in hour one. We have a coaching injury, Dave. What's the update?
Nothing further coming from the team. We'll have to await. It's a practice to practice situation. But as Coach Mace says, that Coach Andrew Harris finally was inducted into the coaching fraternity when he tweaked his back, getting prepared for one drill earlier today.
He's carrying a. Anyway.
Someone's got to have some video of that somewhere. There's cameras everywhere these days.
Got to be something posted.
You look at Just Bins. They'll have it.
We didn't. We'll get to defense next. We're going to do that next hour.
Hour three.
Hour three. All right. Okay.
All right, Dave. Mix in a salad.
Yeah.
Those arteries.
The over/under.
Those arteries. Trust me, with a guy with high cholesterol and the Ukrainian genetics.
Yeah.
Canadian Blood Services, they try to tap this. They're going to go ahead and they're going to get gravy.
It's Dave Thomas. He's having fun. He's live at the Red Zone Sports Bar in Saskatoon, right behind Travelodge. They are our training camp sponsor. We'll have Dave back in hour three. The Red Zone Sports Bar is right behind the Travelodge. Dave Thomas for the third hit of the day. Do you probably listen to that Paul LaPolice interview? Pretty crazy, pretty cool stuff, eh, Dave?
Absolutely. And just a couple of points of concern here from Red Zone right behind the Travelodge in Saskatoon. First of all, don't tell anybody, but I think I got sour cream stuck on the keyboard from those nachos earlier. And number two, Jordy and the crew, you can't really see them. They're right beside me. They got here early because they want to watch the Oiler game tonight. And, of course, we got all screens everywhere. And so Jordy wanted to pass along a message to Lapo saying that they're available to play. However, the 8 of them, they play co-ed D-Division slow pitch on Thursdays, so they can't practice then. And they like the specials here at Red Zone on Monday night for football. So if they can work practice schedule around them, they like to get Paul LaPolice.
I don't see why he wouldn't.
It's a natural for him.
You're in.
Yeah.
You're in.
Yeah. But has Cody been hitting the cages at Fuddruckers there in the offseason?
Have you guys gone over to 8th Street for the batting cages?
They don't need to.
They don't.
They just follow the same regime that the Blue Jays do, apparently. So that's working out well for everyone.
Hey, we're on this one, hour three here. We want to talk a little defense, right? Where do you want to start?
Well, you know what? I did have an opportunity to catch up with a local product who's just living a dream right now with the Saskatchewan Roughriders and Dalton Urban, a Saskatoon Hilltop player. And I had a chance to catch up with him today. And again, he's just beaming and doing very, very well.
St. Joe's grad, Saskatoon Hilltop, now wearing green and white with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Is this like a dream come true or what?
It is for sure. Definitely a surreal moment. I think I've worked hard over the past few years, and now to finally to have this opportunity, it's a great feeling.
Do you have your eyes wide open thinking, wow, I just can't believe I'm here, or have you grounded yourself already?
I think both. Lots of ups and downs for sure. It's surreal to be out here. Exciting every day. I'm happy to be out here and just grateful for the opportunity to come to practice. These are some great athletes out here. So I'm thankful for one, and then just trying to get to know the guys, get to know the playbook as much as I can, so I can just learn and get better each day.
Well, one of those guys is Mark Webb. You guys were communicating quite a bit in the drills here earlier today. What is that dynamic like, not knowing that you're teammates right now, but you're also battling for positions essentially?
For sure, yeah. I mean, all the guys, they're like brothers right now. They're helping me out as a new guy coming in, especially getting the playbook late and all that stuff. So I gotta compete in every drill for sure, but also we're learning together, growing together. Just because as a DB, we all got to work together. If one guy slips up, then that's a blown coverage and a big play for the offense. So when we're communicating, then we're on the same page, and it's a good play for the D.
When did you get the invitation to camp, and what was your reaction?
It was a few weeks ago, honestly. I got a call from my head coach, Tom Sargent, at the Hilltops, and he let me know that I was. He was going to put my name forward to get invited to the camp, and then they got in contact with me shortly after, and then I've been ready to go ever since.
What words of wisdom did Sarge give you coming into this opportunity? Of course, you've worked with Jeff Yowsey, who's an outstanding coach as well. What did they tell you?
Yeah, those guys are all supportive. They have a ton of knowledge themselves. Just to have fun, right? To learn, to grow each day, but to give it my all, never back down, and just do the best I can.
What do you want to leave a lasting impression with the Saskatchewan Roughriders? When they think of Dalton Urban, what do you want them to think of?
Just that I'm a hard worker. I do everything with a purpose, and I'm here for a reason. So if I can do that, I think then I put myself in a good position.
You did put yourself in a good position right away as well. I would suggest that when the coach gives you a nickname on day one of Keith, that's a pretty good sign. How did that come about, and has it stuck?
Yeah, I just found out he told me in the meetings room before, joking around, that some of the guys were calling me Keith. So yeah, they can call me whatever they want. I'm good with whatever. Yeah, it's exciting though.
It is an exciting time. We wish you all the best during camp this week.
Awesome, thank you, appreciate it.
Keith, that's funny.
What else would you call him?
Urban Cowboy?
Urban could call him that, but Keith is a natural. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. What's you wanted to talk about the shifting on the defense pre-snap?
Yeah, so you heard him talking about the work that he was doing with Mark Webb, because the challenge today for the defense and the defensive secondary in particular was the fact that they had to recognize what they were going to be coming up against. We know in the CFL, the waggle is predominant. Everybody runs it, and you have to pick up where that man is going to come out and be. So there was tons of communication. Mark Webb was working stride by stride along with Dalton Urban, taking a ton of reps for the secondary, but also working was Antoine Brooks Jr., who you'll recall was with the team last year, and they've moved him around. Like, he's a defensive back. They put him at linebacker a little bit. They had him in some hybrid spots, and I think that just is a testament to his athleticism. So having the ability to recognize and read where you need to be, he was a leader in that process today, and I think that that's going to serve this team well. Head coach Corey Mace was very, very happy with the way that group is coming along, because it's not an easy thing to do, especially at the high tempo that they were operating at today.
I think it's great that we're seeing these young guys from Saskatoon or Regina, whichever you want. We've talked about Deshaun Mims earlier, and now these guys out of Saskatoon getting this chance. There's two guys from U of S we talked a little bit about yesterday. Their roommates are maybe a little too close for some people, but they've followed each other wherever they've gone and been wherever that's been. How have they looked together playing on defense?
Seth Hundeby, he's done well at the linebacker spot. Of course, I don't know that his reps are being limited or not, but every time that he's on the field, he definitely has an opportunity to make a play, and he's done that. Daniel Weeb's the receiver on the other side of the football, and I tell you, Daniel, his speed is what sets himself apart, and that's the one thing that he's got to work through, not the speed part, but the physicality part, because we're starting to see those secondary guys creep up a little bit on him and see whether or not he can burst away from their coverage. He's had an opportunity to make some plays. We'll see whether or not that's going to be enough, as of course there is going to be a cut down prior to main camp opening on Sunday.
Lastly, word on the street, text message, Prairieland Rentals text line, that the defensive line, they were doing a lot of push-ups today.
Yeah, insider from the stands. Look out. Yeah, there was some physicality today. Again, there wasn't pads on, but the team is got to be physical. They know that. And if you look right now back at last season, right, how good was this team, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, against the run? Number 1 in the CFL. However, their pass defense, in part because they faced so many passing reps, as teams would abandon the running game against them, they did give up and surrender the most yardage. So how do you counteract that? Well, you've got a great secondary already with the players you're bringing back, but you need to get pressure on the quarterback. So today in some one-on-one challenges, the defensive linemen had to go ahead and try to beat the O-linemen to use their feet, to use their leverage, to use their speed to see if they could get back there. And if they didn't, then they had to do push-ups. So the defensive line, I had to work in some push-ups today.
So the offensive line was pretty happy with their efforts today, pushing the defensive line to the push-up line. Nice.
Yeah, they were so happy they were going to come try the nachos here tonight.
All right, what's on tap for tomorrow? What are your eyeballs watching tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow I'm going to be very interested because I think we'll get a pretty good indication of where players have landed in the coaching graces, right? Because as I mentioned, there is going to be a cut down of players going into Sunday. I don't know how many guys are not going to get the opportunity to carry on, but let's face it, it's a very veteran core that will be back on the field at Griffith Stadium on Sunday morning when main camp opens. So we're going to get a pretty good idea of who is where as far as the depth chart goes within the coaching ranks and who has absorbed what to be able to go ahead and compete for a spot at main camp that opens on Sunday.
Nice.
All right. We will talk to you then, Dave. Have a good night. Sounds busy there. Sounds like it's filling up for the hockey games.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm such a dipstick. I was watching the game while you guys were talking with Paul LaPolice, and I'm like, wow, this game is playing out a lot like Game 1 did between Washington and Carolina. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's the replay. They're going to overtime again. What a dipstick.
I've done that.
Do you want to put some money on it, Dave? Do you want to bet on it?
Hey, I'll take Washington. I'll take Washington the way things are going for me. What an idiot. Okay. Have a good one, Dave. Thanks. Talk to you tomorrow.